Hello there, Professor Suck here with another interesting presentation of As the Psyche Turns, Unit 3, Part 3. This presentation will be done by my colleague, Professor Williamson. And a warning, this story really stinks. Take it away, Professor Williamson. Hello there. And it's another story by your friend, Professor Williamson. The setting is Brady, Texas. The year is 1978. And a young city manager named Clayton Williamson had just been appointed city administrator in Brady, Texas. It was early January, but it was a pretty day. And Clayton was very excited because he was about to start his second week of work as the city administrator there in Brady. It was going to be a tough day, he was told, because, see, this was the day that was called Utility Cutoff Day. Most of the utilities, including electricity and water and gas, were all administered by the city. And this was the day that if you hadn't paid last month's bill, your utilities would be cut off. But under city ordinance, everybody that needed an extension or wanted to argue in a reduction in their bill got to come in and talk personally to the city administrator and get a sort of a hearing to decide what was going to happen. And here I was. I was told it would take all day. Everybody had a 15-minute unit of time to argue their case to me. So I was getting all ready. I got up a little extra early, got my breakfast in, got all dressed for work, but I had one chore to do. I had to take my black poodle, Pepper, out for his morning stroll so he could get his business started. Okay? Now, for the last week in my new duplex that I was renting, I had been keeping him on a leash because Pepper had one really bad habit. He hated cats. And if he saw a cat, he would chase them to heck and back. And that could make for a very bad time. So we went out that whole first week and no cats. I was so happy. I was in a cat-free neighborhood. So this morning, because I wanted to get to work early, I took him out without a leash, going to let him go tinkle on the bushes and get him back inside. So there he is doing his business, and I'm feeling really good when suddenly, no. He does that thing he does. He goes rigid, sort of like a pointer. And I know he zeroed in on a cat. I started looking frantically for this cat. And oh no, I find it. It's across the street in the bushes. And I start yelling at Pepper. No, Pepper, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't you go over there. No, Pepper. And Pepper takes off like a shot, headed across the street to the bushes to get this cat. And man, did he want this cat. This was the weirdest cat he'd ever seen. It was black with a white stripe running down its back. And he was going to get it. And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, don't do it, Pepper, don't do it. Stop, that's not a cat. Does the dog listen to me? No. He doesn't listen to anybody till he gets about a foot from the skunk. And then the skunk lifts its tail and sprays my dog. Arr, 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 arr. Pepper starts running for the back door of the house, screaming at the top of his little lungs. And wife number one comes to the back door, and I'm screaming, don't open the door. Don't open the door. Whatever you do, don't open the door. You know what that woman does? She opens the door. And in goes Pepper and the smell. And my wife screaming, "What the heck?" Whew, 2 hours later, we have gotten pepper drenched in tomato juice, which does not work, by the way, and off to the groomer for 4 times the normal charge to try to get rid of some of the smell. We bought up incense and candles all over the place, opened up all the windows, and I have taken a shower, and I'm using my wife's Chanel number 5 to try to mask the odor. My wife has called work to let my secretary know what happened, and I'd be late there for my appointments. I show up, and the city staff is already burning incense everywhere. I go into my office. My secretary, a wonderful lady, nearly gags, sends me to my office, and I start seeing these people who are pleading their case for their water and electricity bill. Now, I am told that most people use up their whole 15 minutes. But that day, no one stayed in my office longer than 2 minutes. It was the quickest turnaround on hearings for utility bills in the history of the city. I was done in no time. Unfortunately, half the staff has to go home early. And it was another 2 days before things really became normal. So just because you think smell isn't so important, get around a skunk and you'll think differently. So, this concludes this story about sensation and perception. And I'm sorry, but it really does stink. Have a great day.